Have you ever found yourself, after ending a painful relationship and promising yourself you wouldn't repeat the same mistakes, falling into exactly the same kind of bond? A different person, a different setting, but the same wound, the same anguish, the same feeling of being trapped in a cycle that never seems to end. You are not alone, and it's no coincidence. Erich Fromm, one of the most insightful thinkers of the 20th century, said that most people do not truly know what it means to love, not because they don't want to, but because they love from a place of fear, dependency, and need. And when you love from that place, repetition becomes inevitable. You repeat painful relationships because you are unconsciously trying to resolve something that was left open in your past. It is not a rational choice. It is an emotional attempt at repair. You search, time and time again, for someone to give you what you lacked in childhood, to see you, to choose you, to never abandon you. You hope that this time it will be different. But the problem is, we don't do this consciously. And so, without realizing it, we choose again and again what is familiar, not what is healthy. The same pattern with a different face. The same wound disguised as a new opportunity. Fromm explained that love is an art. And like any art, it requires knowledge, practice, and commitment. But he also warned that modern culture does not prepare us to love. It teaches us to consume, to demand, to expect the other to meet all our needs. It teaches us that if a relationship doesn't make us feel good all the time, it isn't worth it. And so, we confuse love with relief, with instant pleasure, with constant validation. When we don't work on ourselves, we look to others to complete us. But the other was never meant to complete us. They are not there to fill our emptiness. And when we use them as an anesthetic, we turn them into an extension of our own needs. We stop seeing them as a free being, and instead view them as a solution. That is where the repetition begins, and also where the suffering deepens. Because the truth is, many times we do not choose the other for who they truly are, but for what they emotionally represent. A familiar figure, a way of trying to rewrite a script that was left unfinished. And that familiarity, even when it hurts, attracts us. If you grew up with emotional distance, you may feel drawn to those who are distant. If you grew up feeling invisible, you might bond with those who ignore you. If you learned that love comes with rejection or abandonment, you may unconsciously seek relationships that confirm that belief. Fromm said that human beings tend to repeat until they become aware, and only by making the pattern conscious can true transformation begin. But doing so requires courage, because looking inward is uncomfortable. It is painful. It means revisiting your story, your wounds, your choices, and accepting that many of the relationships you hold on to are not built from love, but from fear. Fear of loneliness, fear of not being enough, fear of never being loved. And when you act from that fear, what you offer is not love, it is need. And what you receive more often than not is not care, but more pain. So, how can we break the cycle? Fromm said that to truly love another, you must first learn to be well with yourself. Not as a cliché, not as a slogan, but as an internal reality. Because if you cannot be with yourself, you will continue to choose from emptiness. And emptiness always chooses poorly. Breaking the repetition requires presence, awareness, inner work. It means asking yourself why you are attracted to those you are attracted to, why it is so hard for you to let go of those who do not care for you, why a part of you insists on staying where you are not truly seen. Often, the answer lies in your emotional childhood, in that version of yourself that learned that love equals pain, that being ignored is normal, that love must be earned through effort. That part of you keeps choosing for you until you decide to take control. And when you start to heal, love begins to take a new shape. You no longer choose from need, but from abundance. You no longer need others to validate you, because you have already accepted yourself. You no longer tolerate what you once tolerated, because you understand that you deserve something different. Fromm spoke of mature love as an act of giving, not of sacrifice. A meeting between two whole individuals, not two broken halves seeking to complete each other. A bond based on care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge. But to reach that place, you must first become someone capable of offering that to yourself. The problem is that we live in a society that teaches us to flee from discomfort, that distracts us with noise, speed, and promises of instant happiness. And true love, real love, is not instant. It is slow. It is deep. It is challenging. Because it confronts you. It shows you who you are and who you could become if you dare to grow. So if today you find yourself repeating painful relationships, do not see it as a punishment. See it as a signal, an invitation to awaken. Because repeating is not the problem. The problem is repeating without learning, without asking yourself what you are truly seeking, and why you continue looking for it in places where there are no real answers. Fromm said that love is not a passive act. It is not something that simply happens to you. It is something you do, and only when you understand this can you begin to build something different. So ask yourself, from where am I loving? From freedom or from fear? From abundance or from need? From my adult self or from my wounded inner child? Answering yourself honestly may hurt, but it will also set you free. Because when you truly see yourself, when you recognize your patterns, your wounds, your mechanisms, that is where change begins. That is where conscious love begins. The kind that does not seek to complete, but to share. The kind that does not repeat, but transforms. And yes, that kind of love is rare, because it demands work, patience, and courage. But it is not impossible. It is rare because few are willing to look within. But those who do, stop repeating, and they start choosing. Choosing the love that nurtures, the love that builds, the love that no longer hurts as it once did. And along that path, love no longer becomes a trap, but a gateway to freedom.